welcome to Gab and Jam, episode 304.
And what are we talking about today?
All right, so today's topic might be a little controversial for some people, but are all the best bands Canadian? Question mark, exclamation point.
Yeah, Canadian or American, however you want to look at it.
Well, right, but
That's all part of American.
Right, yes, that's true. Are they not from the United States of America? How about that?
Yeah.
Right, all right. So we love all kinds of music, and over the years, we have started noticing that some of the people that we assumed were, homegrown USA artists are actually from Canada. And not only, the part that's so weird is Canada is 1/5 the size of the population of America.
Yeah.
And so for the proportion of artists, including some of the quote-unquote greatest songwriters and spanning across all genres, a lot of times are Canadian. And it was just amazing. We just started calculating a few on our own, and then of course I referenced a Rolling Stone article that had a few more that I didn't know were from Canada. So.
Yeah, that is. I mean, it's just like when you're surprised that how many great songwriters kind of come from the Midwest, or great artists, that have originated from the Midwest. You know, so it's. And here in the Midwest, we are pretty close to Canada, especially like here in Michigan. So, it's amazing. So
we tried to group them loosely into some kind of categories.
Yeah.
But if you want to see the blog post, that all of them are listed, including links if you don't know anything about them. This would be a great way to do the research on them.
Yeah.
But loosely, a category called Great Songwriters.
Yeah.
And in that, we have people like the band.
Well, I would say more specifically Robbie Robertson.
Okay, Robbie Robertson.
Yeah, so,
okay.
Yeah, so definitely another Canadian who recently passed. So, the great Robbie Robertson.
And Joni Mitchell. Oh, my goodness. Joni Mitchell is the quintessential folk hero. For females especially, and brought in a particular type of personal experience song and all that, then that is a Canadian origin.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Rush. Oh, my God, supergroup Rush.
Yeah, Rush. Yeah.
Right.
Pert died a few years back, but still Rush. I mean, what would hard progressive rock
That was a prog rock.
Without Rush?
And there's a whole new, neo-prog rock movement happening now. So so a lot of people are just now getting turned on to Rush. So they're from Canada.
Yeah.
Heart.
And the Wilson sisters.
And they feel like, it's such their sound is the American.
Yeah, such a integral part of what. I think I grew up thinking was United States rock. There was a soundtrack of that. So, I mean, Barracuda, Crazy on You, Magic Man. All those songs. Awesome.
And Bryan Adams, too. Because Bryan Adams, I always, kind of associated him kind of side by side with Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
And then when I found out he was Canadian, it was like,
Yeah.
It just... it was just, and then of course Neil Young. Oh my goodness, the whole, Devil May Care. I'm gonna do what I want to do. That whole spirit of rock and roll.
Yeah.
And to find out that he's Canadian, that was kind of a shock to me.
Yeah.
And we recently saw something on Leonard Cohen. Yeah. And I guess he's another one that embodied you kind of doing your own thing and expressing your, uniqueness. And he was an advanced age when he quote unquote made it, and not doing what he was supposed to do and all that. So
and that's the thing. So you start thinking about somebody like a Neil Young who was kind of part of that kind of California scene, because he ended up hooking up with Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young.
Yeah.
And Graham Nash comes from he's English and he comes from the Hollies, but still, I mean, there's just this thought, and Joni Mitchell too. She was in that Laurel Canyon area of songwriters that kind of, Jackson Browne, the Eagles spun from that. So just so many great songwriters who came out of that, particular area. And Joni Mitchell coming from that same area, you would think, okay, she wrote basically the theme to Woodstock, you know.
Right.
Yeah, James Taylor also came from that. So, yeah.
I love it. And other great quote-unquote artists / songwriters, we have Gordon Lightfoot. Celine Dion, not so much a songwriter, but she's still iconic, and I just always assumed she was American.
Yeah.
The Guess Who.
Yeah.
Michael Bublé, Mr. Frank Sinatra, new version, from Canada. Anne Murray. Don't it make my brown eyes blue?
Yeah.
Katie Lang. Rufus Wainwright. I know he was a prodigy back when he was 18. I had no idea he was Canadian. And of course, the great Bruce Cockburn.
And then there are people who kind of have like quasi-Canadian connections. Like, you know, I didn't know that Al Hendricks, Jimi Hendrix's dad, was born in Vancouver.
Oh, wow.
You know, and then Rick James, when he was looking to get away from the military, went to Toronto and started hanging. That's where he met Neil Young.
Wow.
So he started hanging out with Neil Young there. But there's a whole bunch of things like Rick James, his whole story, I think is just amazing to me. I didn't realize that he always kind of had this connection with Motown.
Okay.
And so he was like a staff writer and things like that early on before he finally came out with his record on Motown.
Okay.
Come Get It, his first album that had You and I on it in like circa 78, right? So, but he already had this history, you know, that, you know, it included being in a band with Neil Young.
Oh, wow.
So just amazing with that, with Rick James. I was about to say Jimi Hendrix.
Don't do that. No, but Rick James is fascinating. I mean, and just very right as a character and as an artist. Very fascinating. All right, so the next category of Canadian groups that we associate with America, in hip hop, the king of hip hop, some may deem, is Drake, and of course he's Canadian, but he's probably Canadian. We kind of knew that.
Yeah, he's definitely. I mean, you would have to say he's definitely the king of emo
hip hop. Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't know, and I know a lot of people probably say, well, you know, he doesn't like rap traditionally.
Right.
You know, he more does that sing rap thing.
Yeah.
Especially now, but I think early in Drake's career, he's probably more known for actually, you know, doing real rap.
Right.
And I think, you know, him and Meek Mill had the thing, you know, about him. Yeah, him, you know, whether or not he used a ghostwriter and that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Which, you know, that is sacrilegious in the hip hop community. But, you know, as far as sales and quote unquote success, you don't get bigger than Drake.
Yeah. And I didn't realize, I found out when I was doing the research for this, Snow, the Informer, back
doing the reggae rap.
right. That he's from Canada. I did not know. I still love her. I think it's her first album. Nelly Furtado.
Yeah.
Portuguese, but from Canada.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that. Of course, Daniel Caesar. And of course, The Weeknd. The Weeknd is proudly Canadian. I knew that.
Yeah.
But just the corner of hip hop is, you know, that there's a firm grounding in Canada. And I just, again, mostly assume that it's an American form, that Americans are always at the top of it. And then we have our category of All-American Pop. Justin Bieber, proudly from Canada. Yeah, I didn't realize Shawn Mendes was. Yeah. I didn't know. I thought he was from California.
Yeah.
So I was surprised about that. Carly Rae Jepsen, I did not know.
Yeah.
She was all the rage.
Maybe, right?
Yeah, she was all the rage a few years back. I know some of y'all are saying, who? Yeah. But anyway, she was all the rage a few years back.
Yeah.
All right, leaders in that feminine energy that we so lean into today, Alanis Morissette. I know people are going back and discovering her. And Avril Lavigne are both Canadian and from, you know.
Yeah, and I know we're going to name check her later, but it's almost hard not to put, like, Sarah McLachlan.
Yes.
And the reason why I say that is that Lilith Fair, you know, and that whole thing, you know, so during the 90s. I mean, that was huge, bringing all those different female artists together and, you know, going on
like the female Lollapalooza.
Yeah. So I think that was huge.
Yeah, and then, of course, all around popular, everybody probably knows, Nickelback, the most hated band on earth.
Yeah.
We still love them, but they're from Canada. And, of course, Arcade Fire, I think I knew they were from Canada.
Okay.
But, but they're probably more popular now than Nickelback. except Nickelback is the most hated. But all right, so some others that you may or may not know are from Canada. Shania Twain.
Yeah.
And she was big in the kind of pop country.
Yeah.
I know she's having a little resurgence now on her tour. Feist, the person who wrote the early Apple commercials, 1, 2, 3, so she's from Canada. I assume she was English.
Yeah.
So it was a surprise to me to find out she's Canadian. Of course, Tragically Hip is one of their more widely known Canadian bands. Yeah. Sarah McLachlan. Yeah. Back to her. Yeah. The folk. What is she's folk, but it's more of a fan. Like it's more than just folk.
I would say it's probably more alternative, because early on she was always kind of known as an alternative act. I mean, I think like her first couple of albums probably put her in the same ballpark as Kate Bush.
Okay.
I mean that they kind of seem like similar type artists, but she could round around the things that are a bit folky, but I think she has stuff that's a little bit more electronic too.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because it's more dreamy.
Yeah, like that Fumbling Towards Ecstasy record was she's got stuff where, she was using a lot of drum loops, things like that. So I would kind of put her at kind of folk alternative. Yeah.
But definitely. She's one of the definite leaders, like you said, of that whole bringing the feminine energy to bear to the forefront, all of that. So
great songwriting and melodies.
Yes. I'm constantly, again, sometimes my lyrics, if I'm starting on something, if I'm inspired, I will model some of the way she does her cadences and some of her imagery.
Her imagery is, you're right. Yeah. It's spectacular. Yeah. I mean, just the way that she paints those pictures in your head with her words. I mean, it's incredible.
It is. It really is. And then Our Lady Peace, you guys probably know, is Canadian. They're more widely Canadian. Bare Naked Ladies, I assume they were from Oregon.
Yeah. I think I always knew they were from Canada. Really? Yeah, and maybe it's because I think I may have heard like some live stuff from them, where that kind of came up.
Okay.
But I think I just always kind of knew they were like Canadian.
No, I didn't know that. Sum 41. I didn't know they were Canadian.
Yeah, no, I didn't know about them.
Yeah, Sum 41, Metric.
Yeah.
Now, Tegan and Sarah, I probably, if I had to guess where they were from, I probably would have said Canada. Yeah. Right. And then finally, Sebastian Bach.
From Skid Row.
From Skid Row, right. That he is, from Canada.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, my goodness. But so if you want to check out links for all of those artists, make sure you check out the blog post. Of course, the list is stupid long, and to find out more is a nice trip. I enjoyed researching this.
Yeah, I mean, but it's amazing how many of people that we think are some of like the greatest artists that have ever lived are Canadian artists. I mean, Gordon Lightfoot recently passed, and I think even Bob Dylan has really praised him as like one of the greatest songwriters ever.
Wow.
I mean, the amount of people who talk about Gordon Lightfoot and, his influence on them.
Yeah.
Who kind of spring from that same thing, whether it's a Bruce Springsteen or like a Bob Dylan. The respect that Gordon Lightfoot always had is just unbelievable.
And Leonard Cohen, like you said, it's just I didn't know, and that's why I love what we do, because we get a chance to learn it so that we can share it with you.
Yeah.
And what do you guys think? Is there somebody who you thought was uniquely American and you find out that they're from someplace else, especially Canada? We'd love to hear about it. Put it in the comments below. And what else?
Make sure that you hit the bell for notifications. But before you do that, you have to subscribe. Right?
Yes.
Right now, we're at 49.5K
Oh my goodness.
subscribers. So we're like 500 subscribers away from hitting 50K. So
it would be so nice. What do you think we should do to celebrate 50K subscribers? What do you think?
Yeah.
And you let us know. So
put it in
the comments below, because we may take your suggestion, because we're right there. Especially if you help us out by making sure you subscribe.
Yeah.
All right. We are also getting ready for our next live stream for Obtanium Flow. The single is going to be So Restless.
Right.
And that is going to be on October 20th.
October 20th, yeah.
And at 7 p.m. on a Friday Eastern Time. And we would love to see you guys there. So make sure you come. And of course, we have stickers. We have t-shirts. Oh, no t-shirts today.
No t-shirts.
We have stickers. We have t-shirts. We'll have all the links below. So we would love your support. And we hope to see you at the live stream. Yeah. If you dig the vibe and you want to be a part of the tribe, be sure to
subscribe.
We're wishing you love, peace, and
chicken grease.